Welcome back to yet another season of feedback. Yes, we've made it. This is what, our third or fourth now. We are still here, and good show we have for you today. Actually, kind of the best of what we've been doing and the best of what's yet to come. It's all tonight on Feedback. All right, as I said, welcome to Feedback this Wednesday edition at 7:30. Normally we will be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 7:30, but our council coverage will be with you, of course, every Tuesday and Wednesday except for the first Tuesday of the month. On tonight's show, coming up in our first segment, we're going to be talking with a woman that you may have seen us talk to her actually about a year ago at this time, the grammar lady, Mary Newton Bruce. A chance to do a phone for us. We're going to replay it for you. It was a great phone interview, very entertaining and very educational, so that's coming up for you in the next segment. And then later in the show, we're going to give you kind of a preview of what's ahead here for spring 2001. What we have here, we're going to be talking to the integral people involved in making TV5 what it is. We're going to be giving you an update on what our program schedule is and some ways you can contact us. So that's coming up a little bit later. But as you know, as is the customary, we're going to try to keep it kind of short because we have a lot in the show. But I want you to take a look at this story. This story came across the satellite today. It's from CNN's John King. It's just kind of a little update on George W. Bush's out there. What are my thoughts on George W. Bush so far? You know, I really didn't want him in office. But I'm going to give you those thoughts after you take a look at this story from CNN.
A focus on families as the president opened the fight for his big one.
Relief bracket, averaging $1,600 per family, while still reducing our national debt and funding important priorities.
The White House says the 10-year price tag of computers back at that, $850 billion. Mr. Bush disputed Democratic arguments that his plan is tilted to favor the rich, saying it is only fair that those who pay the most in taxes get a generous tax cut. But he also had strong words for fellow Republicans who think the tax cuts
their own vision of tax relief, and I want the members of Congress and American people to hear loud and clear, this is the right size plan, it is the right approach, and I'm going to defend it mightily.
The driving force of the Bush plan is an across the cut. There are 5 federal tax brackets, 2%, 28%, 31%, 36%, and 39.6%. Mr. Bush proposes 4 lower rates, 10, 15, 25, and 33%.
Well, the beneficiaries of the plan are very clear. Rich people. Almost 40, 50% of the cut goes to the top 1% of the country. They get an average tax cut of about $50,000 each.
The president also wants to eliminate so-called death or estate taxes, significantly reduce the so-called marriage penalty on 2-earner couples, double the current child credit to $1,000 per child, increase the annual contribution limit for pre-tax education savings accounts from $500 to $5,000, and allow this money to be spent on private schools from kindergarten through college. The slowing economy is having a powerful impact on the debate. Public support for tax cuts is on the rise, and Mr. Bush says any reduction should be retroactive to the first of the year as a way of boosting consumer confidence. John King, CNN, the White House.
So there you go. That's kind of an update on what President Bush is going to be presenting this week. He actually presents that to Congress on Thursday. If you've been watching kind of how President Bush has been working, every week he's kind of taking one initiative. Education was the first week. Last week was talking about giving some money to faith-based charities, and this week talking about a tax cut. So you may be wondering, what's my report card of George W. Bush so far? As you know, last fall I was not happy that he won, and I thought I was going to be more disgruntled than I am right now. Actually, I'm pleased with how things are going thus far, but he also hasn't hit anything that's too controversial yet. We haven't seen abortion come up too much. That may be controversial. Of course, John Ashcroft was controversial, but that doesn't that did reflect George W. Bush, but not policy-wise. But I think what we're going for is good. He wants to present a tax cut. Democrats are agreeing that there should be a tax cut, but they want about George W. Bush is offering. So it should be very interesting. This should provide a lot of debate. If you look at the House and Senate, they are pretty closely divided. So we should even see some good debate going on there, and these 4 years probably won't be as bad as I was thinking they might have been some time ago. So from time to time, we are going to be taking some of those stories from CNN to show you, just to kind of go in depth and show you a little bit more, some things we may not have time to do on our regular newscast. We're going to show you those things here. So we're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we are going to show you the interview I did last year with Mary Newton Bruder, the grammar lady. You can polish up on your grammar.
I'll take Simmons.
Give me Jones,
Anderson.
Smith,
Lightfoot.
Bishop,
Hernandez.
Swifka,
Harris.
Lavender.
Peavy.
In the game of life, you've got a much chance at getting paid for a cool job with great pay. If you take algebra, geometry, and calculus, you need to know how math can improve your future. Demand it. Call Acme. We'll tell you.
Hey, kid. Boyfriend wants to know if that girl will go out with him. Pass it down.
Hey, Grandma, ask the girl again if she wants to go out with this loner.
The young man wants to know if the girl over there, the donor.
Somebody wants to know if you're an organ and tissue donor.
Yes.
Hey, me too.
Are you a donor? Make sure your family knows your decision so there's no question later.
Feedbacks now. And I said, you know, it wouldn't a better name for a movie to come out now. I think I'm going to make the movie or write the book. It would be a great book to have. And you can call to get her book. You can also find it online. Well, I have a feeling I'm going to be rather opinionated. People I know. So let's ask them about scheduling. Why is it that students have such a problem here with?
Tune into Feedback with Mark Despotakis every Tuesday and Wednesday night beginning at 7:30 p.m.
We're totally out of time. No time to talk to you. We'll see you tomorrow.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant. The Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant is located at 540 Main Street in Clarion and offers dining as well as a nightclub. The restaurant and nightclub are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Call the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant, 226-8400.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. In this segment, we are going to do kind of a retrospective. You may have seen this once before. Last February, I had the chance to interview Mary Newton Bruder. You may know her as the grammar lady. She has a column in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Weekly, and she's the author of the book Much Ado About a Lot. An excellent book. I recommend it. And here is a listen to the phone interview I had with her earlier last year.
Well, in the late 80s, I was looking for a literacy group that needed some publicity, and we weren't getting anywhere publicizing this group. So one day in the New York Times, I saw a list of grammar hotline numbers that were around the U.S. and Canada. And so I thought, well, gee, we could have a grammar hotline for this literacy group and get a little local promotion going. And so that's what I did. I'd been teaching English, and I have a degree in linguistics. I thought, well, it would be pretty easy to answer grammar questions over the phone. So I got a little local publicity, and then it just slowly grew over the years, not very many calls, 1 or 2 a day maybe. And then I got a little more publicity, and I got the column in the Post-Gazette on Fridays. And just by word of mouth, the thing has grown and to be quite big. Then in, 96, I opened the grammar hotline with an 800 number across the country. And I put up the website, and now, the last report, I was getting 370,000 hits a month.
Wow. Well, you know, looking at the explosion of this, you said that you're nationwide now.
Yes.
So are you appearing in other papers besides the Post-Gazette?
Well, actually just one other one right now, and I'm hoping that the publicity with this book will get me some more newspapers. There's one in Hartsville, South Carolina. Hartsville Messenger.
So what makes you the foremost expert on grammar? How did you acquire all the knowledge?
Well, I think the way I mostly learned is by teaching international students of English, people who don't speak English natively but come and want to learn to do various and sundry things. Because people like that ask questions that are different from the ones that native speakers ask, and they make you look at the language in a whole new way. One, I think I might have told Anne, one of my students had an alarm system put in her car, and the installation guy, the mechanic, said, now when the alarm goes off, and she said, no, the alarm has to go on, it's not going to go off. And she could not get it through her head that when it went off, it was going to make noise. So that was, and I had never thought of that before.
Okay. Looking at all your years of experience at it now, what is the most common question you hear asked of you?
Well, there are several right up there, affect and effect.
Mm-hmm.
I, me, and myself, and whether you should put the apostrophe in your name when you sign your holiday card. Greetings from the Smith, S-M-I-T-H, apostrophe S. That one's very, very common, and it drives me wild every time.
A few weeks ago, I'm a big Lynn Cullen fan, and I heard that you had written a letter to her talking about some things that she had done on the air. Do you find yourself doing that often?
Write letters to people?
To people who maybe newscasters or maybe someone in a newspaper. Do you find yourself doing that?
Well, I don't do it so much as some of the other people who visit my website do. They get very angry because people like Lynn, she has a large following, and they figure that if she says something wrong, then other people will feel that it's okay for them to do it too. So I don't write her too often. Something came up the other day that she was wanting me to call in and it was that try and we should try and stop this before it goes any further, as opposed to try to stop this before it goes any further. And she wanted me to call in and talk about that, so we settled that one on the air.
Well, what's the right answer then?
Try to.
Try to.
Yes.
So I'm someone out there, I've gone through my education, and I still feel that, yeah, I do make grammar mistakes. People have made comments. What tips can you give me if that is me?
Well, I would recommend you get a copy of this book, which the title of is Much Ado About a Lot, How to Mind Your Manners in Print and in Person. And what it is a collection of lots of very common grammar mistakes, but they're put together in topics. How you would mind your manners at school, or how you would mind your manners in the office, or at social occasions, or in the doctor's office. So they're put together with themes so that it's not just a random collection of questions that you're looking through.
Right. Is it rude? You know, I do this to my roommate all the time, and he does it to me right back. Because something I found that I do is I'll say, where is that at? And that's incorrect, right?
Right.
Okay. So he'll be correcting me on things of that nature, and I'll be correcting him on other things. Now, obviously, we can because we're living together, and it's a little different relationship.
Right.
Is that good etiquette if I'm out there doing that to other people?
You're likely to lose quite a few friends. It's considered quite rude to do that. What you do is interrupt the flow of conversation by correcting someone, and the other person could get quite defensive. And I have known occasions where people have fallen out of friendship just from something like that.
So you're someone who's in the business of correcting grammar. So can I presume that you're not actually, if someone's in a conversation with you, like right now, say if I say something wrong, which I may already have, will you not correct me?
That's correct. I would not correct you.
That's very interesting.
Well, because when you're speaking with someone, you're concentrating on the communication, on the message, and I think that's what should be happening. If I stopped to correct something, then I wasn't really listening to what you were saying.
Right.
I was listening more to your grammar, and I tend not to do that.
Well, that's interesting. The grammar lady doesn't always tend to listen to our grammar.
Well, that's right. It might be comforting in some ways.
In television, I'm sure we see it a lot. Grammar is wrong. If you watch the news, you hear it quite a bit. If you watch sitcoms, you hear it maybe quite a bit more. And even in the newspapers, you see it. I mean, I've seen things. I read the New York Times daily, and I do see some grammatical things there.
Right. That's always shocking to me to see them in the New York
Right.
Times.
Do you find that maybe because we're seeing it so prevalent in the way we receive information in these major mass media sources, that it's changing society's way of talking and society's way of writing and using grammar?
Well, that's going to happen anyway to some extent because language changes over time. There are things that I would never have dreamed to say as a young person and this is not just slang words either. I can give you a couple of examples. When I was younger, we were taught that one does not pronounce the T in often. And I still don't, but most younger people do. And I suppose that that's a change that's going to just happen because young people do this.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is the pronunciation of the word M-A-U-V-E. How would you pronounce that?
Mauve.
Okay, well, I pronounce it mauve, and that's still the way it is in most of the dictionaries. But again, since many younger people pronounce it that way, your way, that will be the way it is in the future.
Well, I would think if I said to someone mauve, they would look at me kind of strange because I mean I've heard mauve a few times, but I guess you're right. The language does evolve.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
That's interesting.
And I have no problem with those kinds of changes. But people who would say, well, anything you say is perfectly all right, and if I want to say, where's it at, you can't stop me. Well, that's true. I can't stop you. But I can't also stop making a certain judgment about your use of the language that makes me think certain things about you. And that's the thing I think people need to think about. I know some employers, if they get an application letter or a resume with a grammar error or a typo, they just throw it out in the circular file.
Well,
so it does really matter what we do and how we say it.
Well, parting thoughts here. Is there hope that I think that there are a lot of people out there who always don't have the best grammar, and I think a lot of times they're aware of that. But I still think the population as a whole is pretty good. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think people care. That's my main concern at this point, is to start the dialogue, get people concerned about it, get people talking about it, and then I think it will resolve itself in a hopeful way.
Right. Well, where can we get the book at? See, look what I just did. It's my roommate says it to me every time, and I still keep doing that. Isn't it?
Well, but now you will think twice.
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Right.
That's a start. So where can we find the book?
The book is available in most of the major bookstores, Borders, Barnes & Noble. I think the independents have it, too. I know the Pitt Bookstore has it. Also, it can be gotten online at Amazon or at the Barnes & Noble site.
And there you have it. That was my interview with Mary Newton Bruder last year, the Grammar Lady. You can read her column in the Post-Gazette on Fridays in the magazine section. But right now we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to give you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes tour of that which is TV5. Stay with us.
Fox's Pizza Den. Fox's Pizza Den is located on Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Phone 226-5555.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Carpet Barn. The Carpet Barn is located at 470 South 5th Avenue in Clarion. The Carpet Barn is open Monday through Saturday for all your carpet needs. So call the Carpet Barn, 226-7332.
Standing out from the crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe and accessory department, you're surely to find that special touch to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall, just off Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from noon till 5.
On the big highway of life, there's only one safe place for kids. The front seat's not the place to drop out. Don't want that big old bag to pop out. Put that booties in the back seat now. Have that kitchen never be out. Here to remind you to put them behind you. Wow! Look at here. You stay alive even when I drive.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. Now, as promised in this segment, we were going to kind of do something different here for you, taking a little tour. That's why I'm holding the microphone here. So if we can go ahead and switch over to camera 3 now. Switch over to... There you go. Okay. You're seeing me over here now, I presume? Yeah. So I'm walking through the set now. It's kind of a different world. This is not what you always see. I know one time we kind of took a behind-the-scenes look to see everything else, but we're actually going to take you behind the scenes of most of TV5. Introduce you to some of the integral people here. And our first very integral person is Jess Pomeranning, our director actually on Tuesday nights. Jess is actually just carrying cable for us today, but you excited for TV5 this spring?
Very excited. I have power now.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, power...
When I'm not holding the cord, that's...
Power's a good thing unless you abuse it, right?
Yeah, but this cord is very powerful, too, because...
That's right. If you yank it, it's gone.
And you'll kill me, so...
I'll kill you, yeah. At least you know that. Moving on. All right, so we're coming from the feedback set now. You've seen this before. Over here is the news set, and actually we have some visitors from Philadelphia on our TV5 news set. That's where you'll see our anchors every Tuesday and Wednesday night immediately following feedback at 8 o'clock. Now, if you keep coming with me here, we have another camera in the way. No, we don't have robotic cameras. We just don't have a human on the camera right now. That's the camera you'll see to take the wide shot of us at the end of the show. If you keep following me here into our office, it's actually also our newsroom, our office, you know, whatever you want to call it. Step on into here. Kind of have a little trouble getting all the cable here. This is the first time we've done something like this, so, you know, we're having a little fun with this. Here into the office, our newsroom, and over here is our assistant news director at TV5, Megan Mahoy, and if I get enough cable, I can actually talk to her. How are you doing, Megan?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
This is fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do we have to look forward to for TV5 News, besides a name change, TV5 News Live now, this spring?
Yeah. We have 3 new anchors. We also have Carrie LaPoo returning, and we also have a great new news source.
Resource for us.
Yes.
Yeah, CNN.
Yeah, CNN.
You can actually see it up there. The feed's coming through right now. I don't actually know what that is.
Yeah, CNN is our new news source. We can...
Looks like they're waiting for a press conference or something.
Yeah, we get live shots of press conferences, so...
So we will have that. Actually, I think that might be the White House, actually. All right, so we are going to continue, and let's see if I can go without... Let's get the audio cable maybe on the other side. Here, let's do this. It's live tail. There we go. Let's do it that way. Drop my pen. That's all right. All right. So here we go, and normally it's not going to be this disjointed at TV5, but I love it. Well, coming up this semester at TV5, we actually have a new programming schedule for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the full-screen graphics of that. On Tuesday, starting at 7 o'clock, we're going to have the show Greenworks. Now, Greenworks is actually a presentation by the state of Pennsylvania. Talks a lot about what goes on in Pennsylvania's environment, and it's an excellent show, actually. Following that is Capital Conversations with State Senator Mary Jo White. Good show. You're probably hearing a little bit of the radio station here as I'm passing the radio station. Following that is this show you're watching now every Tuesday night and Wednesday night, Feedback. And following that is TV5 News Live. We're going to bring you, of course, the latest news. Let's move on to the Wednesday schedule. The first show that we'll be airing here, will be coming up in here in a second. The first show we'll be airing on Wednesday is Focus on PA. Focus on PA is another one of these great state shows that we get from the state legislator. Just kind of takes an update on what's going on around the state, followed by Capital Connection. Yet another show like that, 7:30 p.m. is the show you're watching right now on a Wednesday night, Feedback. You just finished watching Capital Connection, followed by TV5 News Live. If we can come back to me now, I'm actually up here in the control room. I made my way up here. We'll show the contact information in a second. If you guys could pop me up, maybe. There we go. Here I am. This is the VTR domain, videotape. You see, as we bring the satellite feeds in, this is where all the tapes are played, and these are the gentlemen that do that so well for us. Big Daddy. Pat, who's also an anchor for us on Tuesday nights for the after Borough Council coverage. And now let's head back over this way. This is the Nerve Center. This is where it all happens. Usually it's very quiet up here, so it's me kind of coming up here and being boisterous and loud. This is the control room where it all happens. This is our director for Feedback and TV5 News, Amy Jadowski. And, well, how's this going so far, Amy?
It's a little hectic tonight. It's my first Feedback show, but we're pulling through.
How's this segment looking? Good or bad?
Segment's looking great.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that because you're on TV? Or?
Well, I always have to say things like that. You know that.
Going that good. All right, so this is where, all the magic happens over here. They push the buttons and make us be on TV. There you go. Let's put up the information here, how you can contact us at TV5. If you'd like to contact us, send us a letter, feedback at Becker Hall, Clarion University of PA, Clarion, PA, 16214. Or you can give us a call. Our number is 814-393-2398. We have the answering machine and everything there. Or we've hit the new world of technology. Send us an email at tv5@eudoramail.com. So that is TV5. We are going to take a break. When we come back after the break, as Amy's over here getting ready thing to go, getting stuff ready to go to break, and we're going to come back and say goodbye and get you ready to go into TV5 News. We'll be back on Feedback right after this.
Of the earth pass by, because many of these products are made from materials you've been recycling. But to keep recycling working, you need to buy products that say, made from recycled materials. For all those next in line, it would mean the world to them.
Hi everybody, I'm Brandy. How would you like to give hope to millions of the world's children? UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, is saving lives in over 140 countries by providing kids with medicine, clean water, nutrition, and education. With your help, UNICEF can make a huge difference in our world. For more information, call 1-800-FOR-KIDS. Thank you.
All right, and welcome back, and a quick goodbye to you. TV5 News Live is coming up next. They are on the set right now, getting ready for it, and you can stay tuned for that. Join us next week. We have a special Valentine's Day show for you. If you want to learn how to flirt, tune in for that next Wednesday at 7:30. Thanks for joining us on Feedback. We will see you next week.